Well, shock horror, Harmy. India have won the Champions Trophy to add to their T20 World Cup title. Four-wicket win over New Zealand in Dubai. I don't know whether you got to see very much of it. New Zealand did well, actually, to give themselves a chance with 251 for seven after batting at a snail's pace through the middle part of the innings against India's spinners. But then India chased it down with an over to spare despite a little wobble, a little scare in the middle. Um, did you get to see it much? I wanted to save this till the end, but I can't. I have to let our listeners and viewers know that you are in New York City.
I am in New York City, a city that never sleeps. And I tell you what, you'll hear in the background that even in the morning that the sirens that are going. It's a wonderful place, an unbelievable place. I'm leaving this afternoon, so I play golf a lot, and I know there's a topic of conversation going to come up during this show about England playing golf. But I tell you what, I have never walked as much as I have over the course of this last 5 days. It's been brilliant. What a city! You here for the World Cup? Less security, I think, while I'm here than there is when you were here. But I didn't get to see much. I only seen the highlights, i.e. the wickets, the good shots. I've seen enough of it to probably form an opinion that we knew India were going to win. Unfortunately for New Zealand, I mean, they're the best two teams in the tournament. And you're right, I think the snail's pace. And it's not a knock against New Zealand. I just think India bowled really well. Yeah, in the passages that I've seen. I mean, when you look at the bowling figures, I mean, was that 38 overs between the spinners? They got a hold of the game and they really sort of driven home the advantage in that middle period. And then, do you know what? When Rohit Sharma got out, I thought, "Ooh, this could be a game. This could be a game." Virat Kohli's already gone. I think they got off to a great start again. Shubman Gill and Rohit Sharma. And we'll and obviously we're going to talk about England, and we can talk. But you look at the likes of Shubman Gill averaging nearly 60 and 50 over cricket. Virat Kohli averaging nearly 100 when it comes to chasing. Rohit Sharma, I mean, enough said, he's a fantastic player in the white ball format. But when Rohit got out, 122 for three, you just still thought there might be a little bit of a chance here. And I'm not going to say that there were probably a spin bowler short, but that Matt Henry injury, I think the way he bowled in the tournament, I think that period of play, if he was to come on then, might have made a difference. But look, they were just too good. And I think we all knew, even when we were in India, Manners, when they played against England, that there was only going to be one winner of this tournament. And the only team that was going to beat India was if India made a mistake themselves by selection or changing a batting order or game plan issues. They've got everything covered. They've got the best spinners. They've got the best seamers. They can bat between 1 to 9, 1 to 8, 1 to 9 in any given order. They're a proper side, and there will be a proper side for years to come now.
Okay, let's hear from the great man himself. Here's Rohit Sharma after the final.
India is a bloody good team, without a doubt. In the last 3 or 4 years, we've managed to play finals of all ICC tournaments. So I'm really, really proud being a captain of this team because, and even though we didn't win the World Cup in 23, but to play the finals of all 4 trophies was really, really good and shows how consistent we are as a team as well. You lose one series here and there, it doesn't mean that the team is bad or things are not happening in the right, things are not going in the right direction. It happens. Everybody is allowed to lose, and we lost a series in India against New Zealand, the Test series. But that happens. It's like every time we take the field, we are meant to win everything. But that is not going to happen. This is a sport that we play. There are opposition who are also trying their best to beat us, and you got to give credit to sometimes the opposition as well when they play good cricket, not just look at the faults that we have. Sometimes you get beaten, sometimes you get outclassed by the opposition. And we got outclassed by the opposition in Australia and New Zealand. But that doesn't mean this team is bad. The last 3-4 years will show the kind of consistency this team has had.
Rohit Sharma, he does speak well, doesn't he? He never doesn't get too high or too low. Before I get your thoughts on that, let's actually hear from Mitchell Santner now, because New Zealand have now contested 5 ICC tournament finals. and lost them all. It's a problem that South Africa would love to have. But here's, well, I mean, they'd like to reach a final or two. But this was Mitchell Santner after the game.
Yeah, I guess they're starting to add up a bit now. But yeah, if you make finals, you're coming up against another pretty good team who's also playing some good cricket. So I think, I was proud with the way we fought tonight. I think we pride ourselves on, especially in the field, is not giving up. And I don't think we did throughout that innings. I guess it's bittersweet. You always want to win one of these, and I don't know how many more chances we'll get. But I think this is up there for us. I think we were playing some good cricket leading into this, and we thought we were a real sniff today. But I guess we just got beaten by a good team.
He also speaks well. I have to say that very few captains, I think, have slipped into the job more seamlessly than Mitchell Santner has. He's he's just tactical now. So I mean, he seems to have raised his game. He's bowling better than ever in the white ball format. Did you? The first day I was in New York, I thought I'd just have a quick look downtown, and I ended up doing 36,000 steps, according to my phone, 22 kilometers. I walked and walked and walked. So hopefully you haven't had too much time to look at social media. But if you have, you may have seen that graphic about the kilometers traveled by each team during the Champions Trophy. There was New Zealand with 7,300 kilometers between games, and obviously India with none. And it was, well, literally graphic evidence of the advantage that India had.
Yeah, it is, and it as much as I'm with you. The first day we were here, we walked all the way from sort of Central Park to downtown, and I tell you what, that's not a short walk. I mean, the subway home was very, very much needed. But when you look at this competition, and it don't matter what Sunil Gavaskar says, or I think Anil Kumble had a go, and one or two others, India's trying to defend it. I mean, it's not the players' fault that they're playing in Dubai. I mean, that's the point we made a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it? It's not the players' fault. I'd rather, if you go back to what we said a couple of weeks ago, Manners, we talked about it, and we said it's not the players' fault. I'm pleased that the Indian government have just gone, right, categorically, you're not going to Pakistan. That's it. End of. Rather than 200 MPs in England sitting on the high horse giving it. We signed a petition that you shouldn't play against Afghanistan, but we're not going to pull you out. You're going to have to go over and face the music. Now that you know where I'm going with that one. And when it comes to the people saying it should be an asterisk next to the winner of the tournament, I think that's nonsense. You could have played this competition in England. You could have played it in Australia. You could have played it in the Caribbean. You could have played it on the moon for all I care. India would have won this competition. They were the best team by far. They were the best team by miles. They had the best attack. They had the best bowling unit, the best batting unit, the best captain. And fair play to New Zealand because they were second best. But I actually think they were a long way from second best. And that's not being disrespectful to Mitch Santner and his team, because I think his team were fantastic. I mean, the two spin options were very, very good. Matt Henry, unfortunate with the injury. They're a good seam option. And you're right. I mean, 5 tournaments now that they've been in the final. They need to win one soon, because if they don't, they're going to run out of time with Kane Williamson, because he's the one that keeps them all together in the middle, who keeps the juggernaut of getting to major competition, knockout stages, and then producing in the semi-final. Yes, he didn't produce in the final, but while you've got Kane, you need to win, because they're not like South Africa. They're not chokers. Unfortunately for New Zealand, every time they've come up in the final, they've come up against a decent player, a decent team, or a decent player. That's just been better than them on the day. So, I mean, we were in the country a few months ago, a country that size, the population of New Zealand, the way they look at sport and everything that goes. It's remarkable that they keep getting to finals every single time. So fair play to them. And the India one, well, like my rant last week about the 100, we've seen time after time after time in the last 3 or 4 competitions where Rohit Sharma has been standing on the stage, the byproduct of an unbelievable domestic competition which produces players. How many players have we produced in the 100? None. That's why India, off the back since 2008, have got better and better at white ball cricket, with the way that they keep producing a first team and a second team that can play this great game of cricket, especially in the white ball format. And that's something that we need to address if we want to get better at winning white ball competitions. Because let's be fair, Manners, and I know Rob Key's coming up. We're going to hear from Rob Key, but we've had a 4-year period from 2015. We were rock bottom. We got to 2019, and a little bit beyond 2019. But apart from that, in the last 25, 30 years, we have been average at white ball cricket.
Very quickly, this is an amazing stat. That was Rohit Sharma's 17th ICC event. Michael Atherton, including 2 World Test Championship finals. But Michael Atherton wrote a brilliant piece in the Times about the law of diminishing returns, in which he talks about ICC events, World Cups, Champions Trophies, losing their luster, losing their appeal, because there are so many of them. That was the 3rd one in 18 months. And then I don't know whether it's just me or whether it was you as well, or whether, you know, I don't know whether it's fair, because we work in cricket, to say there was an element of ho-hum about this.
There is, but while India win it, they're not going anywhere anytime soon. And that's it, top and bottom. I mean, the ICC events aren't going anywhere anytime soon. There's one every year till 2030. And they ain't going anywhere anytime soon while India keep winning. Because while India win, ICC hit it in their pocket. It's cha-ching. I mean, they put their money in, they pull a slot, and the jackpot comes every single time when India wins. So we ain't changing this. We can kick and scream and say, you know, they're losing their value. They're not. The 50-over competition, like Mo and Ali said last week, it needs addressing in some areas. But while India keep winning, we're going to consistently have ICC. I actually like this competition. I like the ICC Champions Trophy. I actually quite like it better than the World Cup, because it's the best teams playing. I'd argue go one further and add 2 teams to it and say, right, there's five teams in each group and play 4 games, then a knockout. The 2 teams that finish bottom of each group, they're out next year. And the 2 teams that play the emerging nations come in. And I tell you what, that will make you play properly. Because if you don't, you're going to find yourself in Zimbabwe in July playing against Kenya and Nepal and all these teams. In England, if it was this time, England would be playing that competition. And you were there for the last one. And I'm not sure it was that much fun. So that's the way I would just remodel the ICC Champions Trophy a little bit to make it more inclusive for everybody.